Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Fly the Flag podcast. We're a mortgage show for mortgage people talking about mortgage things. I'm Mike Faraci. This is Jonny Fowler. I probably didn't have to say that because our names are down on the bottom of the screen. But regardless, how you doing, Jonny?
I'm doing great. And I think you do need to say that. Now, one thing it says man of many hats. And yes. I know for a fact that you do wear many hats, but
literally
you
and figuratively
hat on. So
what's that?
You have the same freaking hat on, but I know you wear many hats with a million different things that you do. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm having a lot of fun. I am watching things happen that I have been predicting and saying, and that we were going to be back in this market, that this market was going to start going insane again. I'm coming up with all kinds of really funny ideas for some content and videos that we're shooting, that we're doing. I'm getting ready to travel some more. I'm really excited about the guest that we have today that we're going to interview and talk to, because it's just a cool thing. And I don't know if I told you this story, but basically one of our AFN branches that's here local in Montgomery, Texas. So it is two partners, Jared White and Scott Middleton. And we actually had Scott on one of our shows before. And I think I probably made a joke about it. You two guys are like the same size.
Yeah.
Well, what happened is I'm on Facebook one day and I'm looking at pictures. These guys, Scott and Jared, were at an event, and I'm looking at these pictures, and there's probably, I don't know, somewhere between half a dozen and a dozen people in this picture. And I'm looking at it, and Scott's a big dude. And for people who have never met you in person, you know, you guys are huge, especially to me. I'm 5'10", which is not a small human anyway. I'm 5'10", 250.
Huge is a subjective term, my friend.
I'm 5'10", 250.
Exactly.
When I look up at you and you are 6 inches taller than me, that's big.
That's true. I'm sure Scott and our other friends at AFN, like Tony Casillas and whatnot, would see me as a pretty normal sized dude, though.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind. John Gwynn, John Sherman, you're a pretty big dude.
That's true. They're fit enough to compensate for it, though. I can't say the same myself.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about anyway. So I'm looking at these pictures, and it's Scott standing there, and there is this guy that is just overshadowing him like crazy. And I reached out to Scott, and I said, "Is that dude? Is he standing on a box?" And he said, "No." I said, "Is he really that much bigger than you?" And Scott, of course, he's a guy just like us. He's not that much bigger than me. No, dude, look at those pictures. Go back. He's huge. And he said, "Nah, you've got to meet this guy. He's got an incredible story." I said, "Tell me what the story is." And he said, basically 1 year ago, this is where he was. He said, "I'm going to do this," and no ifs, ands, or buts. In life, physically, mentally, and in business, he made this massive transition. So I got him on the phone one night, and I said, "I'd love to interview you on our podcast. My partner and I do this all the time, and I'd really like to get you on our podcast." And he said, "Yeah, that'd be great." So anyway, without anything else, I'd like for you to introduce our guests.
All right. Well, do we want to do a big intro? Big intro.
And now, introducing our guest, Casey Morris.
Hey, what's up, guys?
And it's Super Bowl weekend on top of that. Oh, I don't think I'm allowed to say Super Bowl.
I think you can say Super Bowl.
Can you? You just can't advertise?
It's a universal enough term. I think we're okay with that.
Okay. All right, cool. Casey Morris, man.
Not, and I'm sorry, legal.
Casey, it's great to have you on here, man.
Thanks, guys. Glad to be on.
Tell us a little bit about you. I don't want to hear the story yet, but I want to hear a little bit about you. What is it you do? Where are you at? Give us some, just background, who, what, where, give us some color.
So Casey Morris, I live in the Woodlands area here in Texas. I got 3 beautiful daughters, married, got a boy on the way. That'll be here in May. Real estate.
Congratulations, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Been a real estate agent coming up on a year. So I started in March of 22. Been doing this close to a year. Having fun with it, man. Getting to help people do all that fun stuff. Yeah, it's great. That's a little bit of my current background. So
I gotta ask, with a wife, 3 beautiful daughters, and your son wasn't quite on the way, but maybe there was a glimmer in the eye. What the hell would possess you to switch careers and get into real estate?
He lives dangerously.
Dude.
Yeah. I believe you could get whatever you want as long as you go after it. You have to go after it, and if you put your whole heart into it, there's nothing you can't get, in my opinion. So I've proven it to myself time and time again, doing what I'm doing. Came from a retail background. I ran a home improvement store up in the Midwest. Did that for 15 years. I was with them. And just one day I decided I wanted to change it up, move back down to Texas, and start doing what I'm doing now.
Beautiful.
Let's talk a little bit about that. You heard me say it earlier. I'm looking.
I feel like we might be missing a few details there, huh?
I'm looking at the pictures. Scott Middleton is a like I said, 6'4", 6'5", and I'm looking at these pictures, and I swear to you, I thought you were standing on a box or something like that. And in a world where I don't know what the exact number is, but I'm going to guess that there are more female agents than there are male agents. Then all of a sudden you see. Now, it makes sense for where we're at. I can understand it completely, especially where you're at. Montgomery, there's country, there's all of that. Tell us about this change that Scott filled me in on and what possessed you. I'm kind of with Mike on this one. You got 3 girls, a boy on the way, and what am I going to do? I'm going to get into the housing industry because that makes all the sense in the world during the middle of a crash. So what am I going to do? Tell me about everything that happened to you in the past year.
Yeah. Well, so you said about a year.
Yeah.
So we're looking at beginning of 2022. So naturally you looked at the market and said, we're in inventories at an all-time low. I want to go sell houses.
Rates are 2%, but next week they're going to be 5%. Let's try this.
Yeah. You wanted to be the guy submitting one of the 72 offers that sellers were getting at the time.
So the idea started in 2021, to be honest with you. This whole idea of getting into real estate started in 2021. I was living in Southeast Missouri at the time. And it turned into, we wanted to move back. I'm from Texas originally, but I grew up in the Midwest. So me and my wife always talked about moving back down here. What got me into real estate, worked in home improvement. So I worked with a lot of guys that were involved in real estate, flipping, LTRs, things like that. Long-term.
We talk about it all the time. Tangential markets.
Correct.
It's crazy. It's crazy how many economies and how many markets fly off of the real estate transaction.
Massive.
Yeah. And these guys were doing good with what they were doing. And it looked fun. The flipping at that point in time with what I was doing, it looked like something fun to do. Now, if you've ever gotten into flipping, some of it is fun, but a lot of it's a pain in the ass. So it's really one of those things you really got to have an interest in to really go after it and make it happen. So
the good thing is you can rely on contractors. That is the most safe, substantial thing in the world is the contractors always show up on time. They finish the job when they say it is. It's going to be exactly what they said or maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, well, we're all smarter than that. So, but yeah, it's one of those things. You got to be a problem solver too whenever you get into that, and that's something that I like doing. That's why I did what I did before becoming a real estate agent. I was paid to solve problems. That's all I did. So, talking to these guys and seeing what they were doing, it turned into something that I really wanted to get into. But I had a really good job at the point in time whenever I was thinking about doing this. So I was the breadwinner. I was bringing home the money and all that stuff. And over a span of like 2 or 3 months, my wife's career went nuts. She started doing great. And she's a social media influencer, by the way. So 100% online. That's all she does, social media. So it took off and it got to the point where we had a little bit more freedom. And that's whenever I decided, let's just do it. Let's go for it. Let's make it happen. It was tough in the beginning. We had to tighten our belt a little bit, but it's starting to pay off now. So, but yeah, that's a little bit of why I got into it. To reiterate, it was talking to the guys that were in the middle of it that got me to want to start doing it. Not necessarily, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to be a real estate agent forever. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the residual income I could create for later. So,
explain that.
Right.
Go a little bit deeper.
I was going to say I have a few questions. The first one would be, you said it's starting to pay off a year later. What's your definition of paying off? That's a subjective, and it's going to be different for everybody. So I think we could learn from that.
Absolutely. So there's income coming in. Obviously, that's part of it starting to pay off. You're a real estate agent. You pay money to be a real estate agent. There's money that you have to throw towards this. Yeah, it's not a cheap thing to do between getting your license, networking to get your name out there, and I'm not talking about advertisement, but just going to meet and greets and things like that. It's not free.
Yeah.
The fuel, I mean, the money you're dumping into your gas tank to drive around people around town to try to get them to find the home that they're looking for. But it's starting to bring in the income. It's not where I want it to be by any means, but it's starting to pay off in that manner. I'm starting to see some money coming in. I signed up agents underneath me, and with the company that I'm with, I get residual income from what they do. So if they sell a home, I get a little slice of that. So that's another thing that's starting to roll right now. But
how many transactions did you close, say, in January?
How many did I close in January? I haven't closed one in January. I did have a commercial that finalized in January. So
okay, cool.
Commercial lease.
So you're not just focusing on residential. You're multifaceted here.
No, I'll do land, I'll do commercial, I'll do residential, I'll do multifamily, I'll do anything that gets thrown my way. I love learning. I'm not an expert on any of it yet, but that's why I'm on a team, because we have all different minds coming together to do this thing.
That's
Mike, where he's at, to give you a little bit of color. So he is approximately 45 minutes north of Houston, the city of Houston. Where he's at is a really, I don't know what you would call it. It's a really cool area. So it is an area that a massive developer came in and said, I'm tired of developers coming in and cutting down all the trees. I want to take this piece of dirt and I want to leave it to where it looks like people are living in a forest, but I want to develop it to where there are skyscrapers and there are multifamilies and there are shopping centers and there are gas stations. But in theory, they're almost all hidden from the trees. So as you're driving down a road, you have no idea that directly behind this line of trees is one of the most amazing event centers for concerts that you've ever been to. Right behind this line of trees is an incredible river walk with, I'm going to guess, probably 5 million square foot of shopping center right there. But if you drive out of what I'm going to call his development or his subdivision and you drive to the back of it, you are sitting on 500-acre farms. You are sitting on 1,000-acre cattle ranches, and it's right on a major freeway, but it's in a really cool place. It is 15 minutes from the lake that I've got my place on, but he's 15 minutes from this lake. So it's one of the coolest places. And for somebody who is in the industry that he's in, so he gets to sell, like he said, he gets to do commercial, he gets to do land, he gets to do horse farms, and he can do a 322 single family sitting right in the middle of this incredible, beautiful forest.
And it's a great point, because I know a lot of agents just getting into the market, just getting into the industry, so to speak. They think a lot of people just think it's residential, and that's the focus. It's homes for people to live in, and that's it. But there are so many ways to build up a multifaceted skill set to expand your earnings potentials, your expertise, and like you said, Casey, the amount that you'll learn along the way.
You're exactly right. You learn a lot. And Johnny's exactly right. Where I live, I still use a GPS to get everywhere, because there's you see nothing but trees aligned. The main
That's
road
in the subdivision. He uses a GPS.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's really cool. You don't see these big pylon signs everywhere. They're all monument signs that are real close to the ground. but yeah, everything's hidden by trees. They didn't want to commercialize it that way. They wanted to keep it's why it's called the Woodlands. So it's awesome.
All right. Sorry to take us on a little detour there, but I do want you to get into the residual income you were talking about. You're not just doing this to sell homes and make money, but it's a lot about the residual income. And honestly, the words residual income are the dream for the vast majority of people to hear, because that's the low effort stuff that keeps paying off in the long term. How are you going about setting that up for your future self?
So it's not low effort in the beginning. That's where I'm
obviously at. So, yes.
So in the beginning, it's a lot of effort. Long term, you're just sitting there collecting a check, mailbox money at that point in time. Maintenance and things like that. So my thing is that I want to get into LTRs, STRs, things like that me and my wife own, and we're just collecting checks every month on them. So Airbnbs, things like that. We're not just going to keep it here in Texas. Our goal is to be major areas that Airbnbs are popular in. So that's kind of what we're going after as far as long term. Right now, we're not doing that. We're not quite there yet. So right now we're just building my career up to where we get enough to where we're going to start getting into that. It's not far away, but we're in the beginning process of doing that.
So are you going to stop the OnlyFans page when you start hitting big in real estate?
Man, those feet pics, those are something else. I don't get it. I got the ugliest feet in the world, but they take a lot of
I told you it was funny.
Oh man.
Tell us about the health journey.
Yeah, so at the heaviest I ever was about a year ago. I was 380 pounds.
How tall are you?
6'6", 6'5", right now.
All right.
I'm taller than Scott. That's how I identify. I'm taller than Scott. So,
got it.
No, I'm about 6'5", 6'6".
Scott's gonna feel attacked if you listen to this episode, by the way. Just putting it out there. I got all the love in the world for you, Scott. I don't know what these guys are talking about.
Scott's amazing. I love Scott. Scott's a real cool dude. But it started about a year ago. Man, I was tired all the time. Just no drive. I'd been a stay-at-home dad. I took a break after I got out of retail for about a year, to be honest with you, and focused on the real estate thing the last 6 months of that year. That was tough, doing it at home. I didn't go to a classroom. I did it from my computer. And that's harder than hell if you think about it. You have to be disciplined to sit down, do that thing. 3 kids running around the house, dogs, wife. There's plenty to do. It's not you're bored whenever you're at home with that. So I got through that, and then I don't know, man. It just something clicked and said, man, I don't like this. I don't like this feeling. So I started working out at a little gym close to me. Wasn't going good in the beginning, and then eventually it started getting to where I was working out 5 to 6 times a week. And in my head, I could start feeling myself. It didn't just help out with my health side. My work side I started getting clear. So like Johnny, he's pointing at his head. I had a clear mind. I was starting to see more. I mean, everything was clearing up quite a bit. So it got to the point I lost 60 pounds. I'm down 60 pounds now. It's tough for a big guy like me. I'm a wide dude. I've always been big. I graduated high school at 280, and I played college baseball at 280. So that's just one of those things that's always been big. But the health journey, it's been a long journey. I'm not a health nut. I don't eat chicken every day. Still love my food. But I'm a little bit more conscious on what I throw in my body. I love my beer. I love going and having a drink with some buddies.
There you go.
I put in the work in the gym every day. So
that's good stuff. Congratulations on the loss. That's amazing. As somebody who has,
I
lost a large chunk years ago and have since gained it back and am working on losing. Like it's been the roller coaster for me. I'm just working on forgiving myself and moving forward from where I'm at now. But I mean, I'm a big guy too. I'm currently sitting at 6'4", 275, and I shouldn't be. I feel weighed down. I feel like I'm gonna have to trim out to keep up. I have a 1-year-old son.
Oh, that's awesome.
I might have to keep up with him because he's been walking for about 2 weeks now, and he's already starting to show me how slow I am. So it's one of those things. Everybody has a different point where the switch flips, but being able to really stick to it and commit to it is a lifestyle change, and that's super commendable.
It really is. And the diet, I could only imagine where I'd be at if I got my diet down pat. But
yeah,
hey, I'll take the victory. I'm in the gym. I'm doing that part. But yeah, you're right. Your 1-year-old. Wait till your 1-year-old starts running.
I know. I did this with. I have a 9-year-old daughter as well. So we've been around this merry-go-round before.
Yeah.
And it happens way too fast. Always does.
My youngest is 28, so I don't have to worry about catching her or anything like that. My youngest is almost y'all's age, so we're good with that.
But yeah, it's been a fun journey. It really has. And the funny thing is, my wife, we did it together. Me and my wife both. She does health and wellness stuff for social media. That's part of one of her gigs, and she did it with me. We both did it, and then we got to where we wanted to be, and then she got pregnant. So she's dealing with that now. This has been the smoothest pregnancy she's ever had as well,
right.
Because the health. She fixed a bunch of stuff, and she feels way better.
Let me rewind that a little bit just to help you out from coming from an old guy. We got pregnant. She didn't get pregnant. We got pregnant. Just throwing that Mrs. Morris, he was mistaken. He is stage right now. Yeah. He meant we got pregnant.
Johnny, thank you.
Yep.
Take it from an old guy.
Yeah,
thank Johnny for being able to sleep in bed tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I got $10 if it doesn't fit in the bed.
That's great. Oh man. Bed shopping is a whole nother thing. There's so many things that everybody always thinks that being tall is great. You can reach stuff off the top shelf. And you know what? All that's good. But try to find pants that fit. Try to find a car you can fit in.
That's what
try to go on a ride at an amusement park. Try to sleep in a bed that's not a stinking California King that you can buy for a halfway decent price. Try to take a bath anywhere.
Never.
There's so many things that are just impossible. And it's not, I just don't think it's worth being able to reach the top shelf.
But
I can't change it.
Flips, and the shower heads will be at my chest whenever I walk in these flips. And it's nuts. It's bull crap is what it is.
I remember years ago having a bathroom redone, and the contractor said, "You know what? I'm gonna give you a piece of tape. How about you just go ahead and put it up on the wall where you want the shower head?" And that was the best thing they ever did for me because it was a game changer.
Yeah, no question. And now at least I've traveled my whole life. I want to say I've probably been traveling for about 36 years now. And when I first started traveling, you could not they did not rent trucks. If you wanted to rent a truck, you had to go to a specialty rental place. And it was only for work. It was a work truck. It was a white vehicle, things like that. So now they've got SUVs, but that's one of the things that I look at. I guess it's what we see our surroundings every day. And I think about, what a pain in the ass it would be for you guys to, one, work for a company that when you traveled said you could only get a $29 a day vehicle. So you don't fit in a freaking Ford Escort.
No,
and things like that. But I look at that and, being 5'10", it's kind of easy to fit into everything. But what a pain in the ass it's got to be for you guys.
It can be.
There's positives and negatives, right?
Now, we were talking about Scott just a second ago, and Mike had to throw us under the bus and make us look bad and save face with Scott. But I want to tell you something, and this is something that hits home. So this is who Scott is. Day before Wednesday, on Wednesday, I'm having a Zoom with one of the realtors, Jeff Roberts, that's up by Casey. And I'm helping him out with his social media stuff and things like that. Jeff was going to take one of my suggestions, go do a live video from one of the properties that he has for sale, blah, 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 all of these things. And we did a number of things to follow up. I showed him a few things, did share screens. And I didn't realize, I asked him, I said, where's the property at? And he said, it's in Magnolia. And I'm thinking, well, I'm right down the street. I'm in Cypress. So, Tomball, Magnolia are right next door. And I said, let me look at my schedule, my calendar, and see if I can. And I'll just meet you out there and we'll do this together. And he was just, so appreciative of all of that. Well, then I ran Waze on it. And again, out here, it's way different. But even though it's in theoretically the city next to me, it was 58 minutes away from my house. And that's no traffic kind of thing. And I'm looking at it, and I'm an hour 10 away from him, an hour 40 to the office after that. We were going to meet out there at 10 o'clock. That would put me here at the office at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it just didn't make sense. So this is what I did. I reached out to Scott, and this is how I met Jeff in the first place. And I said, hey, what are you doing today? He said, just working on loans. And I said, can you do me a favor? Can you drive over to basically it's Honey, Egypt and 45. Can you drive over to the Woodlands, Conroe, theoretically, and meet Jeff Roberts, show him how to do a video at this listing he has, walk through with him, rehearse with him, and show him. Scott leaves immediately, goes and does that and takes care of it, shows him how to do it, puts it on Facebook. Just that's who Scott is. So just have to give him kudos.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So Casey, I know you haven't been in real estate for super long, but you have closed some transactions, and I know that you've helped onboard some agents of your own, all that good stuff. Because we do commonly talk to mortgage people through this podcast. I want to provide a little bit of value to them. And this is a common question that I ask every real estate agent that comes on with us. Through your experience, limited or not, doesn't even matter. What can a mortgage professional, whether they're a loan officer or branch manager, whoever, whatever loan professional, mortgage professional you're working with, what can they do to better serve a valuable realtor or real estate agent partner?
So it's simple for me. It's only two things, really only two things. So, and my two things that I look for whenever I partner up with a mortgage professional is the relationship. Can I talk to him or her? Can I have a conversation? It's not like I'm talking to a wall. I got to feel comfortable because I'm getting ready to give my client to you. So if I don't feel comfortable talking to you, I'm not going to give someone that's getting ready to try to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars or try to borrow hundreds of thousands of dollars with someone that they can't have a conversation with.
Right.
That's my big thing. And someone that answers the damn phone. That's it right there.
We have literally here's how low the bar is for mortgage professionals. I was going to reiterate it. We have never had a real estate agent on this show who hasn't said, please just answer the phone. Like, if you're a mortgage person and you answer your phone, you're in the top 10%.
100%.
Period. That's the bar. It's insane.
Hey, Mike, I'm sitting here thinking about it. We have talked to so many, not only agents, brokers, massive brokers, 15,000 agents in their downline, things like that. Never once has any of them ever said, pay for my Zillow leads. Never once has any of them said pay for. They all
wine and dine me.
Never
take
once.
Take me out for steak and cigars.
Answer your phone and
answer your phone. That's it.
Yep. Those are the two things.
And I mean, he's got two. It is that simple. It is. We didn't go into a diatribe about all of these things that I need from you. I need you to communicate, and I need you to answer your phone.
That's it. Just be able to be human and speak like one.
Yeah.
And answer your phone when it rings. This is not difficult.
Well, I was amazed. That was one thing I was amazed with whenever I did get into the industry, being a real estate agent. And it's not just mortgage people. I'm amazed at how many real estate agents don't answer their phone.
Oh, yeah.
as low as the bar is for mortgage people, it's even lower for real estate agents.
And
it's unbelievable.
All these automated, I'm a face-to-face, this automated crap that these people are doing now, it's not for me. I wouldn't like that. I would not opt into that if I ever had the option, just because I'll hang up on it. That's how I am. If it's automated, I'm hanging up the phone.
And it's more important for real estate agents even than for mortgage professionals, because at certain levels you can make the argument that and don't get me wrong, everybody runs their business differently and you can have success many different ways, but from a mortgage perspective, the vast majority of mortgage companies are all getting their loans and their rates from the same places, regardless of where they're located. And you can contact a mortgage person no matter where they're located, and they can probably give you very similar service to the next white labeled mortgage person. ABC Mortgage versus 123 Mortgage. If they're located on different sides of the country, but they're licensed in your state, the rates and the service probably going to be pretty similar. But from a real estate perspective, by definition, that is a local industry. You are serving your local community members and the people that live around you, and there really is an advantage to working with a real estate agent that lives near where you're buying, because they're just going to have the intimate knowledge
it's a must
you need to have in order to do that. So if you're working with someone who really should be more local and really should be more intimately knowledgeable in order to help the clients in their geographic location, then of course it should be more personable of a transaction. It should be a more face-to-face style type of transaction. And there's value to be had there, more so than within a mortgage transaction. Not that there's no value in that with a mortgage transaction, but there's just far more in the agent relationship.
But they need to know. I mean, that's the thing. They need to know. Casey needs to know how much land goes for per acre, whether it's by itself, 10 acres, 100 acre, 1,000 acre plots. But then he has to turn around very quickly and know what commercial space goes for in his local area or single family. It's a must. And you can't do that. For me to do that for where you're at in in Orange County, California, it would be foolish. So it's something that's a must.
As an agent, yes. As a mortgage person, like, the rate or the price may differ based on a loan level price adjuster that exists for an entire state. But there's nothing ultra local that exists like that. In real estate, that's invaluable information and expertise for an agent to have.
It's all about relationships. And anything you do, it's a relationship. Nobody remembers what broker I work for. They don't care I'm with EXP or whoever. They're coming to me. The EXP and all them, that doesn't matter to them. It's same thing in your industry, because you guys get it's based on the relationship you build with that real estate agent, because most of your clients are brought to you through the real estate agent, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with you, with any industry, it's a relationship. Doesn't matter if your rates are a little bit more, a little bit less. That's not going to matter if they like you and they want to do business with you. I'm a I believe in that wholeheartedly.
And that all that is the definition of a personal brand. I mean, me and Johnny are huge content proponents and building your personal brand, whether it's on social media or otherwise. Social media is the easiest and lowest entry point in order to do that, because you're not having to pay for all sorts of ads, and you can publish all the content you want and get your message out there. But that's why building personal brand is so valuable, because, like you said, people like to work with people they can relate to, and it's much more difficult for an individual human to relate to a big corporate brand than it is for them to relate to a human being that they want to develop a relationship and trust with and work with.
Now, Casey, my wife is a real estate agent also, and so I've got a question for you. Do you think it's necessary for listing agents to answer their phone also?
Well, yeah. Well, yes. Absolutely.
I watch my wife as a buyer's agent go through and beat her head against the wall because listing agents won't answer their phone. And just wanted to get it from your perspective. if you think it's necessary that listing agents answer their phone also. I know buyer's agents do, but I didn't know if you thought that listing agents should have to answer their phone also.
So it's funny. Yeah. So I helped somebody get into a lease, a residential lease. So I just helped them get into that. I bet you it took me an hour to get a hold of a human being at this brokerage. And I'm not going to say the brokerage, but it took at least an hour just to get a human being on the phone.
Come on, say the brokerage. Drive that bus.
No, I'm not doing it.
Here, whisper it to me, and I'll say it.
we won't tell anybody.
So it's the cell phone number listed on the listing. Cell phone number was an automated service.
Oh, Jesus.
I called this service, and then you leave a message, and then they get back to you when they can.
Oh, now, is this by chance one of those automated brokerages that are out there?
No, actually, it is not. No.
Okay. The reason I asked that is I just had my first experience with that, and I can't remember if it was Open Door or whatever it was. My wife trying to show one of those properties, and I tell you, I realized I only got 14 hairs left in my head, but watching an agent try and set up an appointment to show a property that no appointment is necessary to show up at was maddening. I could not believe. It kind of surprises me that human beings, and I'm going to guess they probably don't know this going into it, but what people are doing to themselves to save 0.5% or 2% in commission.
Yep.
The crap that you go through to do this.
If you're even saving that because they're charging you fees that don't calculate by percentages, but that's beside the point.
My wife has helped people with that horrible Z company trying to get people in, to lease that. And it starts with Z and rhymes with a type pillow.
Of tree. Yeah, pillow.
Sure, willow. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah.
It's crazy though. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But then again, I don't know.
Let's go into a customer service business and not have any customer service.
Well, it's got to be, and that's what it's turning into. It has to be personable. It makes it more fun. It makes it more enjoyable for the consumer at that point in time. Whenever you have someone that actually gives a shit and they're putting in the effort to sell the home or help you buy the home. So,
and don't get me wrong, like I always like to recognize the contrary point because there is a contrary point there. There is a humongous place, which keeps getting bigger by the day in the society that we're in with technology where it's at. There is a huge place for self-service businesses. And the level of education that's out there is always improving. And the level of tech that's out there to make things more user-friendly is always improving. But the real estate transaction is currently quite a ways away to getting to a point to where you can effectively self-serve that transaction. And that's just due to government regulations and all the requirements that they need to happen in order to get things, in order to get offers passed back and forth and disclosures sent and signed and piles of paperwork and recording and with counties. And it's an amazing amount of stuff that is very anti-self-service by nature. So it's not really surprising when you hear that somebody's trying to turn that transaction into a self-service type of thing and it's falling flat on the customer service end of things.
Tell me what businesses.
That's kind of expected.
Tell me what businesses it is that you're talking about that the self-service is a good thing. I'm serious. I really, because I have yet to find one that I think.
Simple transactions. Basically purchasing almost any good.
So has been self-checkout at a hardware store, grocery store, things like that.
Or even avoiding those stores altogether and making your purchases online, having it show up at your door. A lot of that stuff is great. Maybe getting a personal loan, car loans. I just refinanced my car loan. The vast majority of it was done online. I had to have a video call so they could record me signing a couple of documents, which was a government requirement or something like that. But a lot of that stuff can absolutely be commoditized because there aren't so many requirements necessary, waiting periods, hoops to jump through, to whatever you can imagine that is necessary for a real estate purchase and a corresponding mortgage to happen. Those things take a little bit more massaging to make sure that the process is smooth.
Thank you for clarifying, because that is something. There are a few of them that I have seen that I do enjoy. There is
buying cars, even. Like, I love the fact that there are certain manufacturers that are fixing prices, and it's just no negotiation. It's what you see is what you get. And I'm sure that I know that supply and demand is really big, a really big play into that. But the fact that you can legit order a Tesla online and have them deliver it to your house, like, that's a dream for somebody who doesn't like negotiating in a car dealer and waiting around for 3 hours to leave.
Well, not only that, just not hearing that stupid excuse that I may get fired for this one, but and let me go ask my manager. I mean, that stuff is so poor. No, I'm glad you clarified, because
I used to sell cars for quite a few years, and that shit makes me sick. So
there are things out there that it has helped, and I agree with that completely. I do like that. There are things that I think that we are a long way away, but no, I am in complete agreement with that. Real estate and mortgage is not one of them.
Fact. Absolute fact. So, Casey, where do you see yourself based on this first year, based on the business cycle, based on your progression in the industry? Where do you see yourself kind of leaning in and learning more about, or areas of the business that maybe surprised you in a way that you want to attack it, where if you heard about it a year ago, that might be something you saw yourself leaning away from?
Yep.
Where do you think your best path for success lies for maybe the next 6 to 8 months as we head into a ever heating home buying season?
So I love commercial. I don't know why. I can't tell you why, but whenever I went, a neighbor of mine needed help finding a retail spot for his store that he's getting ready to open up. He came up to me at the school pickup line and said, "Hey," and I didn't know who he was. He just walked up to me and goes, "Hey, are you a real estate agent?" I was like, "Yeah, I am, actually." So he goes, "You want to help me get this commercial place for my store that I'm going to be opening up?" I was like, "Yeah, I never done commercial. I never touched it." He's like, "Can you help me?" I was like, "Absolutely, I can help you. Let's go." So fake it till you make it, or have people in your corner that know what the hell they're talking about.
Nah, you've got a massive amount of people in your corner.
All day long.
If you got both, you're in a really good spot.
Exactly.
If you got people in your corner and you fake it till you make it, then you're probably going to make it.
You're more than likely going to make it. And I had that confidence with everybody in my corner. We got this. This is going to happen. So that is what I would like to learn more about commercial. I've done some commercial, but that's something that I would want to get into. That's a very, very fun area of real estate. I had no idea it really existed. I thought real estate agents, they all did the same thing and drank a lot. That's what I thought real estate agents were whenever I first
They do that too.
Well, they do drink. No, I'm kidding. Not really. But yeah, it's one of those things, commercial. I would love to get more into the commercial game and learn that a little bit more. And then a close second would be multifamily. That's kind of what I want to get into as well.
Awesome.
Finding multifamily investment properties for investors, things like that. I want to get involved with that.
Do you have a specific, when you say commercial, do you like whether it be retail space, whether it be warehouse space, or is it just commercial in general?
Just commercial in general, but if you had to break it down, I would say more towards like the strip malls and things like that in the beginning, because that's pretty simple in the beginning. It's a good one to learn on, is one of those, the strip malls, because they usually have a property manager on the other end that does a lot of the work and they walk you through most of it. At least that's how the first one went for me. I learned a lot just based off of what they were doing. So that I would start with that and then work my way up to the warehouse side.
Perfect.
It's all interesting. It's all very interesting to me.
Awesome.
Perfect. I learned a lot in that business, not being on the real estate side, but being on the consumer side. And there are a lot of things that I learned. One of the things that I learned if you've never rented any kind of office space or any kind of commercial space, one of the things that I can give as a tip to people is there is no discount on a per square foot. And there's a number of reasons why. When they discount on a per square foot, all they're doing is bringing down the value of the property itself and the other tenants in it. So one of the things that it was really eye-opening for me to learn was it is much easier for a landlord to give a free month's rent than it is to discount on a per square foot basis. It is much easier for a landlord to give benefits, whether it's parking spaces or gym membership, gym access, things like that, than it is on a per square foot. So for anybody that's listening to this, if you are looking to rent commercial property, realize when you go into it that the asking price is what you're going to get. The negotiations are more on build out. The negotiations are more on any of the ancillary pieces,
amenities and things like that.
Yeah, very much so. Because I realized, and for the first office space I rented, I'm thinking, well, they're asking $1 a quarter, so I can probably get it for $1 or something like that. Not realizing that screws it up for the owner. It screws it up for the management company. It screws it up for every other tenant in there. Not realizing what a big deal this was. And then once I learned that, taking it a step farther and saying, cool, not a problem. Then I want to do a 24-month lease, and I want month 10 and month 15 as no cost. And they can do that in a heartbeat.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
That's interesting.
Our negotiation was the sign maintenance. So that we got that for free. That's $100. Where his is at, it's like $110 a month. Is what they pay for maintenance on the signs and things like that. That was part of our negotiation. Building itself, yeah, it's whatever they say, $35, $36 a square foot. You're stuck to that. So
and for you, Mike, that's per year. No, seriously, because a lot of people don't realize this is when most of the time when you're renting space, especially retail, they do it on an annualized basis. So another thing that was like, when I heard $35 a foot, I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, $35,000 a month for office space? No, it's $35,000 a year for the office space. You know, things like that.
It's like $36 a month is what they pay.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Great info. I know that, John, actually, I have a heart out in just a couple of minutes also. So I want to wrap us up. I don't want to keep you for too much longer, Casey, but give me one thing that everybody needs to know about Casey Morris, the most interesting man in town, and also where people can get a hold of you if they want to get a hold of you and utilize your very personable phone answering services.
I will answer the phone. Phone number for the Mr. Casey Morris. My phone number is 618-727-2113. But yeah, I mean, one thing that I bring, it's the personal. I'm very personable. Like to have fun. I make it all fun. Nothing is too serious, and everything can be fixed. So there's always a solution to every problem, and that's where I look at it. So
I got the phone number under your name on the screen right now. Please take a look. Make sure I didn't F it up. Pretty sure I got it though. Fantastic. So give Casey a call if you're looking for
the Woodlands, anywhere north of Houston. That's where Casey can take care of you.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
You guys have me on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Look forward. Maybe we do this again sometime. Follow up with you in a little while and see how 2023 has been treating you.
That's a great idea. We need to do that. Let's do that.
That would be great. I'm a big fan of building in plain sight, and with a go-getter like Casey, who's committed to the business, been here for a year, I'd love to be able to see if we can make you a nice recurring guest, and we can track your progress and see what we can learn from you.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Do we put his website on there where it's like whatever sexy feed at onlyfans.com or whatever it is?
Stepping in your requests at OnlyFans. Is that what it is?
Johnny, you know it by heart, bro. You're my biggest subscriber.
I'm your number one fan. It says so on the page on the moniker.
Absolutely. Guys, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, everybody. And I'm sorry.
He has to do that for me quite a bit, Casey. He has to apologize.
It's a regular thing. It's the obligatory apology for the episode at the end. That's what people come for.
Oh, you know what? You need to do that at the very beginning. You need to have sort of like a disclaimer.
Sorry for everything Johnny's about to say.
That comes out of his mouth has nothing to do with me or anything.
He just turns this off and keeps talking sometimes. I don't know what's going on.
There's no care in the world.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a great one. Thank you.
Bye.